Not every character that you face in video games is meant to be a challenge. Some of them are low-level mobs for you to learn how to play the game in question, and some are just made deliberately weak and pathetic as a joke. But it's these ones especially that you need to watch out for, because sometimes these joke characters can be bloody deadly. So let's have a chat about them, as I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 video game joke characters that are secretly deadly. Number 10. Touch Me. Final Fantasy VII. The range of enemies you have to fight in battles in Final Fantasy VII is quite ridiculous. One moment you might be fighting a gargantuan demon or mech, and in the next, well, you're pitted against a couple of rainforest frogs. However, just because the latter enemies are small and adorable, it doesn't mean that they aren't dangerous. Touch Me is a low-level monster resembling a tiny dancing frog. Despite its harmless appearance, it's considered to be one of Final Fantasy VII's most annoying and dangerous foes due to one ability that can render your entire squad completely unable to fight. You see, although Touch Me has low stats, it can turn all of your party members into frogs with equally pitiful skills. Not only that, this frogification spell called Frog Jab has 100% accuracy, meaning that once Touch Me uses it, well, nothing can save you from becoming a slimy amphibian. On its own, Touch Me isn't much of a threat, but if you stumble upon two of them accompanied by another monster, well, that combination can put your entire squad 6 feet under. It's the old philosophy of, if you can't beat them, make them as pathetic as you are. Number 9. Chicken Jockey. Minecraft. One of the stronger enemies in Minecraft is the spider jockeys, who can spawn in the rare situation when a skeleton merges with a spider. Their ability to climb walls, combined with the ranged and melee attacks of the different types of skeletons, makes for a deadly combo. But the funny thing is that most players have a much harder time fighting the joke equivalent of this mob. Chicken jockeys are a tongue-in-cheek alternate version of skeleton riders, which spawn when a baby zombie decides to hop onto a chicken. Since the combination looks adorable and chickens are normally harmless, it's easy to dismiss this unit type as nothing more than a joke. However, in reality, chicken jockeys are much more aggressive than spider ones, and since they're extremely small and nimble, it takes a really skilled player to hit them as they keep lunging at you. To make matters even worse, their tiny size allows them to move through crawl spaces that other monsters wouldn't fit into, adding even more chaotic and unpredictable energy to their movement. All in all, if you ever get killed by a baby on a chicken, well, don't feel bad. Number 8. Hercule. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Hercule Satan, also known as Mr. Satan, is an iconic character from the Dragon Ball Z anime series. He's touted himself as the strongest human on Earth. Not really though, because obviously Yamcha is definitely like 10 times stronger than him, but still, that's what he's claiming anyway. And definitely sounds like quite the feat, but in the reality of cosmic princes and Super Saiyans, even his strongest move can't leave a dent on any of the other cast members. His blatant weakness in the crazy power scaling of the show itself is typically played for laughs, and the same goes for his appearances in the Dragon Ball fighting games. And even in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, his character is deliberately programmed to deal minimal damage to his opponents, or even worse, no damage at all. This obviously begs the question as to why he's even a playable character in the first place, but the answer is honestly quite simple, and that's because he has one of the deadliest ultimates in the entire game. Since Mr. Satan can't do anything on his own, one of his ultimate moves makes up for it by spawning Majin Buu to fight for him. If Mr. Satan survives long enough to activate it, the unexpected aid can completely wipe the floor with his opponent, taking away nearly all of their health in just a few strikes. He might be weak, but he's got strong connections. Number 7. Sans. Undertale. Sans from Undertale is such a comic relief character that he's even named after one of the most comical fonts in existence, Comic Sans. And yet anyone who's attempted a genocide run of Undertale fears him and would do anything not to have to fight him again. Despite never being much of a threat for most of the game, being more interested in making skeleton puns, Sans appears as the final boss of the genocide route, in which he delivers the ultimate bad time upon the player. This fight is considered by many to be the greatest challenge the player can experience in Undertale. Sans' attacks are ruthless, as he constantly barrages you with quick-moving projectiles, and he's also not above cheating to punish you for killing all of his friends. If you manage to defeat him, you get mad bragging rights, but at the same time, new players may not be all too impressed when they hear that you've defeated the game's laziest and silliest jokester. Oh, those poor innocent souls, if only they knew. Number 6. Mokujin. Tekken 3. Now, the Tekken series is no stranger to absolutely wacky characters. The fact that one of its major reoccurring fighters is a bear that uses his butt and a half-eaten salmon as weapons should make this pretty clear. However, there is only really one fighter whose true inclusion is that of a full package joke, and that is Mokujin. Now, Mokujin is a possessed training dummy who looks as goofy as hell and definitely plays as such too, because they are the only character in the game who doesn't have their own moveset. Instead, Mokujin randomly borrows their fighting style from all other cast members, and the only way to figure out which one they're currently utilizing is to simply just play and find out. For this reason, most Tekken fans consider Mokujin to be a joke, a meme character that you pick to get your butt kicked as you've got no idea which attack you're gonna have. That said, if you're skilled enough, Mokujin's unique mechanic can actually be their greatest strength. Since the moveset changes each round and nobody knows what it will be, if you're proficient with most characters, Mokujin can act as the ultimate counter that prevents other players from using the same tactics. It's actually why a lot of Tekken tournaments have banned this character in official fights. Number 5. Bloatfly. Fallout 3. Fallout 3's insect population comes in sizes large to, well, extra bloody large, but their post-nuclear mutations are actually not much of a threat to Capital Wasteland residents as they might appear to somebody from our world. However, despite being a constant target of ridicule in-game, bloatflies are actually one of the most dangerous creatures the lone wanderer can encounter. Although lore-wise, bloatflies are treated as nothing more than oversized flies that the average wastelander treats as more of a nuisance than anything else, when it comes to their mechanics, coming across one of these in the wild is one of the most frustrating and deadly experiences that you can have. You see, the mutant flies are infamous amongst Fallout players for being hard to hit due to their erratic movement, which, when combined with the poison that they spit, makes for a rather nasty combination, as poison damage, especially on higher difficulties, can drop your health so fast you won't even notice that you have to heal it. That's why you probably shouldn't listen to all of the scavengers and wastelanders talk smack about them. Unlike you, they don't have to worry about being poisoned to death. Number 4. Junior Trooper. Paper Mario. Junior Trooper is a reoccurring character in Paper Mario. He's a baby Koopa who becomes obsessed with enacting his revenge on Mario after he and his party trespass on Junior Trooper's playground. As you might imagine, since Junior is a baby straight out of his shell, in fact he still wears parts of it as armor, the first time you fight him, he feels more like a joke than an actual opponent. But this is only the first time that you fight him, and afterwards the little tyke turns into a paper-mache Terminator. After Junior Trooper loses to you, he swears to grow stronger to kick your butt, and indeed, after the initial encounter, he makes several reappearances where he learns new skills and abilities until he finally becomes so strong that no other character in the game can even compare. Yes, despite losing to you on the playground, Junior Trooper can secretly become Paper Mario's toughest boss fight, making you regret that you ever dared to humiliate him in the first place. Really, the true joke of the game might just be you getting owned by the same little baby that you bullied off his own playground. Number 3. Chickens. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The chickens from the Legend of Zelda series are possibly the most famous example of joke characters that have fooled many players into dying with their deceiving looks. Most Zelda fans probably know what we're talking about with just the mere mention of these foul creatures, but they are so iconic that it would feel wrong not to include them here. Introduced in The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Hyrule chickens appear to be completely harmless at first. They're quite fun to pick up and throw around, which is why most beginner players treat them like punching bags to abuse and laugh as they desperately try to run away from you. But the thing is that if you push their buttons a little too much, it will be you who's desperate to run for the hills. Although a single chicken poses no threat, if you knock it around long enough, it'll suddenly call upon an entire flock of its kin, which is not only invincible but also very, very keen on giving you a taste of your own medicine. Their relentless attacks are almost impossible to run from, so once you attract their wrath, you're pretty much doomed to a horrifying death by pecking. Number 2. Kronos. Bloody Roar Extreme. Bloody Roar is a series of fighting games about warriors who can turn into animals. The premise sounds pretty cool when you think about all the characters who can turn into tigers, lions, wolves, and other ferocious creatures, but then there's Kronos, aka the Penguin Man. In a universe of mighty fighters who transform into even mightier creatures, being stuck with an alternate form of a tiny penguin is like getting the ultimate short end of the stick. And yet, this goofy, puny form is secretly the reason why Kronos is the deadliest fighter and is actually hated and feared by everyone who ever had to go up against him. Although his main form doesn't come with any unique and powerful attacks, Kronos has the ultimate advantage in that he's the smallest character in the game. His tiny hitbox makes it really difficult to reach him with most regular attacks, especially if he plays much larger characters. Meanwhile, Kronos will always have an easy time hitting you since every other opponent covers a huge area for him. You might be laughing at Kronos when he beckons you with his flippers, but you won't be laughing when he uses them to wipe the floor with you. And number 1. Gone. Tekken 3. Before Mortal Kombat featured Rambo and the Terminator, and before Tekken had the rights to use Negan from The Walking Dead, character cameos in fighting games had been a simpler, more light-hearted form, but no less deadly. Quite the opposite, in fact. You see, Gon is a small dinosaur from a children's manga of the same name. Despite his cartoonish appearance and appeal to younger demographics, Gon made an appearance in Tekken 3 as a special unlockable character, where upon first glance, most of the series fans thought of him as a joke. Oh, those naive souls. They had no idea that Gon would actually rock the balance of Tekken tournaments. Because of his small size, which wasn't shared with any other character at the time, Gon possessed a unique hitbox that made him much harder to hit. This, combined with his area of effect attacks like fire breath and farting, meant that Gon was an absolute pain in the ass to go up against if you were used to fighting larger opponents. For a while, the dinosaur was infamous amongst Tekken players for his ability to slide under most conventional attacks, which is probably why most people were relieved that he didn't make a return in any of the sequels. And there we go, my friends. Those were 10 video game joke characters that are secretly deadly. I hope you enjoyed that, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. Make sure to go over and follow me over on Blue Sky at RetroJ. Video is a 0, and I hope to speak to you soon, friends. Bye-bye!